Let's imagine a scenario. You're home, totally alone, and suddenly something feels terribly wrong. You know, the actions you take in just the next few minutes while you're waiting for help to arrive can make all the difference. Not just in whether you survive, but how you survive. So let's walk through the exact steps that could save your life.
Okay, so you've recognized the signs. You've made the single most important phone call of your life. But now what? You're by yourself and you can feel the clock ticking. Maybe it starts with your arm. It just goes heavy, numb, a strange feeling that you know isn't right. Your body is sending out a major warning signal.
Then you try to say something out loud, and the words they don't come out right. They're all jumbled, slurred, and that's when the real panic starts to kick in. You know this is serious. You've called for help, but the dispatcher says an ambulance could be 10, maybe 15 minutes away. That window of time, that's what we're going to call the gap. And what you do in this gap is absolutely critical. So, what is that first physical move you should make? See, this isn't about just helplessly waiting. It's about taking one very specific step to actively protect your brain. You know, we've all heard of the F.A.S.T acronym: face, arms, speech, time. But here's the thing, that's for recognizing a stroke. It doesn't tell you what to do next. The single most important action you can take to protect your brain in this gap, well, it's actually surprisingly simple. Get horizontal. I mean it, lie down right away. Your first instinct might be to pace around or maybe sit bolt upright in a chair, but you have to fight that urge. During a stroke, your brain is literally being starved of oxygen-rich blood. By lying flat, you're taking gravity out of the equation. You're making it so much easier for your heart to pump that precious blood right up to your brain where it is needed most. Now, how you lie down really matters. If you're conscious, lie flat on your back. But here's a key detail. Try to elevate your head just slightly with a thin pillow or even a folded towel. Just a little bit. However, if you feel like you might get sick or if you're helping someone who's unconscious, you've got to roll them onto their side. That's the recovery position, and it's all about keeping their airway clear. Okay, so you're lying down correctly. That is a huge first step. But now we have to talk about the single most dangerous mistake people make in this situation. And this is a really critical warning. That thought is probably going to cross your mind, right? Or maybe a well-meaning loved one might even suggest it. Hey, should I take an aspirin? Isn't that what you're supposed to do for a heart attack? The answer is an absolute, unequivocal no. Do not take an aspirin. This is not a heart attack, and making that mistake could have devastating, even fatal consequences. And here's exactly why. There are two main types of stroke. One is caused by a clot, where a blockage stops blood flow. For that one, an aspirin might help. But the other type is a hemorrhagic stroke, which is caused by a blood vessel bleeding into the brain. Without a CT scan at a hospital, there is no way to know which one it is. And if it's a bleed, taking a blood thinner, like aspirin, will make it catastrophically worse. It's a 50-50 gamble you just can't afford to take. So the rule is simple and absolute. Nothing by mouth. No food, no water, and absolutely no pills of any kind. You just wait for the professionals to get there. All right, you've handled the physical side of things, you're in the right position, and you've avoided that dangerous aspirin trap. Now comes the mental game, controlling the panic. Look, this is a terrifying experience. Panicking is a totally natural reaction. But here's the problem. When you panic, your blood pressure skyrockets. And during a stroke, high blood pressure can force more bleeding or put more stress on the brain, which just increases the damage. So, believe it or not, staying calm is actually a form of medical intervention. Here is a simple, powerful tool to help you do just that. It's called box breathing. Let's walk through it. You're going to inhale through your nose for a slow count of 4. Then hold that breath for 4 seconds. Now, exhale slowly out of your mouth for 4. And finally, just wait for 4 seconds before you start the cycle again. This simple rhythm actually tells your nervous system that you're in control, and it helps lower your blood pressure to protect your brain while you wait. Phew! Okay, we have covered a lot of really critical information. So let's put it all together now into one final, clear protocol that you can remember and, more importantly, share. All right, here it is, your 5-step survival plan. 1. Call for help immediately. 2. If it's safe and you're able to, unlock your front door so the paramedics can get in easily. 3. Get horizontal. Lie down to help your brain. 4. Take 0 aspirin and nothing else by mouth. No food, no water. And 5. Breathe.
Use that 4-4 method to stay as calm as you can. You see, this isn't about being helpless. It's about taking prepared, decisive action. This plan, it replaces that terrifying what-if feeling with the confidence of, I know what to do. So now that you understand this protocol, ask yourself this: who in your life needs to know it too? Sharing this information could be just as life-saving as having to use it yourself.